Greetings, everyone. Namaste. Thanks for joining us here today. I brought Ansley along with me today. She's one of the Planet Yoga mentors, and she's going to actually perform a couple of the variations of Cobra pose that we're going to do. This is a pose breakdown for Bhujangasana, Cobra pose, and this is for Mitchell. And let's start. So I'm going to have Ansley come down on her front side, and we're going to start with Sphinx pose. So I'm going to have Ansley bring her elbows out in front so that they're about in line with the shoulders, and her head just in a neutral position. And what we're doing here is starting with the legs hip-width distance apart. And part of the Cobra pose that we have to think about is how the legs perform. So the inner thighs have to reach all the way back to the inner calves, all the way back to the inner heels, all the way back to the big toes. And then what we really want to focus on here is what's happening in the pelvis, keeping the pelvis in a neutral position unless someone happens to have a very hyperlordotic spine. That means that they have a big sway in their lower back. If that's the case, we would tell them to take the tailbone down just a little bit more to get some more length. And now I'm going to move Ansley's hair just over to the side so you can see a little bit. What we're doing now is just pulling back with the arms and getting this. Do you see how she just starts to rise up just a little bit, right? And so what we want to always try to get in the back bends is looking for all the segments of the spine responding well and equally. So what I mean by that, if you see someone that has like a back bend that's like an L shape, it's a 90 degree, it tells us that there's very much hyperextension in the lower back, but the mid and upper back is not really doing what we want it to do. So we're looking for a sequence of arch through the rest of the spine. So I'm going to actually have Ansley just pull back a little bit more and try to get this part, there she goes, this part of the back to lift a little bit more. And it's about taking these mid-back bones and taking this, there's this fibrous cartilage between the vertebrae and pulling it forward toward the front of the chest like it's piercing, there you go, her chest. Good, and then exhale, come all the way down. And then just relax your arms wherever you want, Ansley, and turn your head and just let it, however it's comfortable for you. Okay, oftentimes I tell students to just kind of wiggle their pelvis back and forth, rocking it side to side a little bit to just release any tension they may have been building. Now what we want to focus in the Cobra as well, I was starting to talk about this before, making sure that this is not all just a lower back work. So that has to do with where the arms are placed. So let's show the very easy position first. Line your thumbs up, Ansley, bring your head all the way down, and line your thumbs up with sort of your eyes. Good. Okay, and then when you're ready, press through the pelvis. You want to keep the navel down on the floor, pull back, and then slowly begin to lift up. And it doesn't have to be that it's that high, right? Shoulders down away from the ears. Now what's different here is that the elbows are going to elevate just a little bit. Shoulders down. There you go. Okay, and so now we're going to slide our hands back just a little bit more. Okay, so this is about the next position where we would go. It's not a pushing action, it's a pulling action. Go ahead and push your hands, Ansley. You see when she pushes, what happens is this gets very short. Now go ahead and pull back instead. And you see that length that she got? Okay, so now Ansley, push through your feet some more. Reach back through your inner thighs. And now try to imagine that you're pulling belly all the way up through the chest. That's it. Shoulders relaxing down. Good. And the key is just to keep the head in line with the top of the spine. So it doesn't matter how high she gets. Go ahead and lower down all the way, Ansley. And relax. And keep the pelvis as heavy as possible. As heavy as possible. When the pelvis gets light, it's not quite right. So you have to keep the weight of the pelvis down on the floor and press also through the center of the pubis bone. So when you take the next variation, Ansley, I want you to pay attention to where your weight is on the pubis bone. And I want her to get it to the center of the pubis bone rather than the top edge or the bottom edge. Bring your arms back to where it's comfortable for you. We also want to watch that when we're coming up, just show sort of an incorrect variation of coming into this pose. See how she's leading through her throat and her chin. And all this does is just jam her up in the upper spine. So now we want to instead pull back, feeding the belly back into the chest, through the throat, and the head just follows a natural lift. There you go. The head just follows a natural lift of the chest, wherever that actually is. And I want you to put your weight right on the center of the, there you go, center of the pubis bone a little bit more. And then when you're ready, every now and then just pull up a little bit if you can, moving the belly up. There you go. And let's, perfect, well done. Take your elbows in just a little. Well done. And then let's relax your throat just a little bit. So the front of the throat just relaxes in toward the back of the neck. And when she's ready, come on all the way down. and let go. Well done. Good job. Good. Okay, so those are some of the things that you're really going to focus on in the Cobra pose. How well you use your legs, the inner thighs reaching back into the feet. The feet have to push down into the ground. And then how well you are getting your weight to move in the middle of the pubis bone. That actually helps you to be in a center place in your pelvis and weight into the pelvis. And then the belly, the lowest part of the belly never comes off of the floor. You just feed it back into your spine and draw the energy back up into your chest. Also the way that you lead. Remember, don't lead with your chin. You're going to lead with your chest. It pumps from the belly, goes to the chest and throat. Goes through the belly, comes up into the chest and the throat, and then once again. All right, so I hope that's helpful, you guys. Thanks for watching.